अव्यक्तो अक्षरा इत्युक्तस्तमाहु परमं गतिं यं प्राप्य न निवर्तन्ते तद्धाम paramam mama. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Translation. That supreme abode is called unmanifested and infallible, and it is the supreme destination. When one goes there, he never comes back. That is my supreme abode. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Purport. The supreme abode of personality of Godhead, Krishna, is described in the Brahma Samhita as Chintamani Dhama, a place where all desires are fulfilled. The supreme abode of Lord Krishna, known as GOLOKA Vrindavan, is full of palaces made of touchstone. There are also trees which are called desire trees that supply any type of eatables upon demand. And there are cows known as Surabhi cows, which supplies a limitless supply of milk. In this abode, the Lord is served by hundreds and thousands of goddesses of fortune, Lakshmis, and he is called Govinda, the primal Lord and the cause of all causes. The Lord is accustomed to blow his flute, Venum Konantam. His transcendental form is most attractive in the world, in all the worlds. His eyes are like lotus petals, and the color of his body are like clouds. He is so attractive that his beauty excels that of thousands of cupids. He wears saffron clothes, a garland around his neck, and a peacock feather in his hair. In the Gita, Lord Krishna gives only a small hint of his personal abode, Golok Vrindavan, which is the supermost planet in the spiritual kingdom. A vivid description is given in the Brahma Samhita. Vedic literature states that there is nothing superior to the abode of Supreme Godhead, and that abode is the ultimate destination. When one attains to it, he never returns to the material world. Krishna's supreme abode and Krishna himself are not different, being of the same quality. On this earth, Vrindavan, 90 miles southeast of Delhi, is a replica of that supreme Golok Vrindavan located in the spiritual sky. When Krishna descended on this earth, he spotted on that particular tract of land known as Vrindavan in the district of Mathura, India. The sense of Bhaktivedanta purport. So this is a very important shloka of this chapter wherein Krishna is explaining the nature of his abode. So now we have been discussing all along in the previous verses the nature of this material world. Last 2-3 discussion we had understanding the structure of universe, understanding different hierarchy, understanding how the position, how the material and spiritual worlds are positioned among relative to each other, and how all these things are temporary in nature, and how life of Brahmaji, he just disappears at the end of his lifetime, and that is like a flash of a moment for Mahavishnu, and that's how we understood the material positioning of this entire material creation. And in this verse, Krishna is explaining about his own abode. Krishna is saying about spiritual world. What does he say? He says, Avyakto aksharo ityuktas tamahu paramam gatim yam prapya nanivartante tadhama paramam mamaha. So Krishna is saying something very interesting here. Krishna is saying, Tadhama paramam mama. Tadhama means that abode, Dhama means abode, Paramam is supreme, and it is mama, is my Dhama, is my place of residence. And Krishna is saying the nature of that universe is Avyakto Akshara Ityuktas. It's Avyakta, it's unmanifested to our eyes, its Akshara is infallible, it never destroys, it always remains as it is, there is no destruction, there is no fall happens for that spiritual reality. And Tam Ahu Paramam Gatim, as also we discussed in the previous verses, Krishna is saying that abode, which is my abode, is a Paramam Gati, is a ultimate destination for anybody to achieve. And Krishna is saying that world which is avyakta, which is infallible, and that has the supreme destination, once somebody achieves that, he does not come back to this world. Yam prapyana nivartante. What happens in this material world, we achieve something, but always there's a fear of losing it. There is nothing permanent in this case. No matter how great position we achieved in our life, even in career, even in wealth, even in our housing or whatever field we may be in, but there's always a coming back. If not in this lifetime, but after next lifetime or next lifetime for that matter. So, but Krishna is saying here that once we achieve that DHAMA, we will never be able to come back to this world. We'll never come back to this world. We'll achieve the supreme destination. Tad dhama paramam mama avyakto akshara itya suktas tamahu paramam gatim yam prapani nivartante tad dhama paramam mama. So Krishna is basically saying Krishna is inviting all of us that we should come to his abode and we should live with him. And let us see the different description which is given in Srimad Bhagavatam about the nature of Vaikuntha planet. What Krishna is talking about here. The nature of this world, we know what is the nature of this world. So let us discuss something from Srimad Bhagavatam which describes the nature of Vaikuntha Loka. So first thing, before we start understanding the nature of Vaikuntha Loka, let us first understand how do we understand about Vaikuntha Loka itself. Because it is said that even in this world there are many places where we personally cannot go. Right? Even in this universe there are many geographical locations. It is practically impossible for us to go there and personally visit and personally experience how it looks like. So in that sense, our limitations of my own position kind of break down by when we hear about that position or when we hear about that location. Let's say something is happening in some part of Europe, but some news channel broadcast whatever is happening in that part of the Europe. Then we can come to know, yes, because of this proper news channel, I understand what's actually is going there. So it is the information is as good as you go there and personally witness it, then you hear from an authorized source. Right? Very simple logic. Similarly, how we can know about Vaikuntha Loka is by hearing about Vaikuntha Loka, which is given in Vedic literatures. So all these Vedic literatures are composed by the pure devotees, in that sense by Krishna himself in the form of Vyasadeva, and it is he who knows everything about a spiritual world, and it is he who is writing it down in the form of Bhagavatam. So when we hear from Srimad Bhagavatam the description of Vaikuntha planet, it is as good as we are hearing what's happening in Europe through a authorized news channel. So in Srimad Bhagavatam it is described the nature of Vaikuntha planet. The first characteristics what is described is it is Chintamani, and it is completely personal in nature. Let me read out one quote from one of the translation. It says, in the Vaikuntha planet, the land, the trees, the fruits and flowers and cows and everything is completely spiritual and personal. So the first nature of the Vaikuntha planet is everything is person in nature. In this world, only we are a person. We will not see the earth to be person. We will not see the stones to be person. We will not see any mobile phone to be person. We will not see any fruit to be personal. It is dead matter. But in the spiritual world, everything is personal. Everything is a person. And everybody is fully conscious person. So for that reason, they have the desire tree, Kalpataru. The meaning of Kalpataru means they have a desire fulfilling trees. So any tree can fulfill any of your desire. For an example, if you are sitting under the mango tree, if you ask, give me apple, that mango tree can give you apple. The reason is, if I ask you, my dear sir, I want apple, or I want banana, or I want any of these things. So you will go in the market and you will bring out whatever I want, right? Because you have that power, you have that conscious ability, and you have that access, you can do that. Similarly, the consciousness of the trees and the power of trees in Vaikuntha Loka is so huge that if you ask banana from apple tree, that can give you. Not even banana, if you ask dosa, if you ask matar paneer, if you ask any kind of dishes, you ask anything from tree, it will be able to give you. Because they are personal in nature and they are complete in nature. There's a first characteristics is that it has a kalpataru. And everything is personal in nature. Even the leaves are person, even the land you walk is person, even the water is person. Anything is living component there. There is nothing dead. So the first nature of Vaikuntha planet is it has the personal nature and it has desire fulfilling trees. And there's a description that how they also have aeroplanes in Vaikuntha Loka. It is said here is, let me quote again from the translation. The inhabitants of Vaikuntha travels in their aeroplanes made of lapis lazuli, emerald and gold. So everybody has their own private jet in Vaikuntha planet. And the jet, the aeroplane is not made up of aluminium. It is made up of what? It is made up of lapis lazuli, the greatest of gem, the emerald and the gold. So that's how that much of opulence is existing in the Vaikuntha Loka. And there is another description which is being given about the flowing of banks of rivers. It says that, let me quote again. The goddesses of fortune worship the Lord in their own gardens by offering tulsi leaves on the coral paved bank of transcendental reservoir of water. So the reservoir of water is coral paved, red coral paved. And when they see themselves in that, the reflection comes out from that plane, from that earth, from that ground, it reflects their beauty and they look so beautiful there. About goddesses of fortune it is described. So it is said that that's a great transcendental effect of Vaikuntha Loka which is being described. And it is said that Chintamani, the land or the houses are made up of Chintamani. Chintamani means touchstone. Here we have the houses made up of wood, we have houses made up of brick, we have houses made up of different kind of components. But in a spiritual planet, the houses are made up of touchstone. And the nature of Vaikuntha planet is that everything is controlled by Yogamaya. It means there is never ever a position wherein there is excessive heat or excessive cold. Always a spring breeze flows in Vaikuntha planet. All the time the touch of air is so pleasing, so soothing, it's just incomparable. And it is said that the air carries the honey of flowers. Because honey comes from flower, honey bee goes to flower and takes out the honey. So in spiritual planet, the air carries that honey of flowers and it just spreads everywhere. So basically you're breathing, you're always traveling, you're always immersed in honey kind of situation. That much experience, that much sweetness is there in the Vaikuntha planet. That is a little bit of description, and there is much more detail which is given in Brahma Samhita. We're not going too much into depth of it. So the second thing we understand about Vaikuntha planet is the nature of their residence. The devotees who stays in Vaikuntha planet, what is their nature? So it is said that first quality they have is that they do not enjoy that atmosphere which is around. Although it's extremely opulent, although it is just completely intoxicating, but they don't even give a small attention towards that. The reason is they're completely absorbed in the service of the Lord. Let me quote one more shloka, very beautiful shloka. Translation. It appears that from this verse that the Vaikuntha planet are full of all opulences. There are aeroplanes in which the inhabitants travel in the spiritual sky with their sweethearts. There is a breeze carrying the fragrance of blossoming flowers, and this breeze is so nice that it also carries the honey of the flowers. The inhabitants of Vaikuntha, however, are so interested in glorifying the Lord that they do not like the disturbance of such a nice breeze while they are chanting the Lord's glories. So, it is not that here only we chant the glories of the Lord, here only we discuss about the Lord. In Vaikuntha planet, their talk is only about glories of the Lord. Their talk is only about how the Supreme Lord Krishna is, how Supreme Lord Narayana is. Their talk is only about glorification of the Lord. And anything which disturbs their glorification, which disturbs their service, they don't like that. So in that sense, the opulence sometime, the nice breeze which is carrying the aroma of honey from the flowers, they don't like that because it is disturbing their bhakti, it is disturbing their devotion service. So in that sense, the pleasure of serving to the Lord is much more higher than the sense gratification. So it is said that there are two kind of pleasure. The pleasure of my own senses, which we enjoy by direct perception, by eating sweet things, by touching soft thing, by smelling fragrant thing, by seeing beautiful forms. It is one sort of pleasure. But the next level of pleasure is relationship pleasure. So the devotees in Golok Vrindavan, in Vaikuntha planet, are so absorbed in enjoying the relationship pleasure that this sense gratification does not bother them at all. If we go to some, let's say somebody comes from African jungle and they've been put into Las Vegas, they'll be completely mad. How much glittering, fancy thing, they'll be completely be out of the world. They will actually go mad. They will just want to get immersed in all the kind of pleasure there. But in the spiritual planet, nobody is even looking after that because they're so much absorbed in the higher pleasure. It is not about the men's or women, it is only also about the flowers. Let me quote one more shloka, very important shloka. Translation, it says, when the king of the bees hums in a high pitch, singing the glories of the Lord, there is a temporary lull in the noise of the pigeon, the cuckoos, the cranes and the chakravaka, the swan and the parrot, the partridge and the peacock. Such transcendental birds stop their own singing simply to hear the glories of the Lord. So the keys of the bees hums the glories of the Lord. Like bees is chanting about the glories of the Lord. So other birds or other the cuckoos, crane, swan, parrot, peacock, everybody stopped singing because they don't like their own singing, because something much more pleasurable is been going on, that is hearing the glories of the Lord. So that's even both humans and bird prefer hearing the Lord's glories than absorbed in any kind of sense gratification. So in that sense, although it is very opulent, but the devotees does not care about it because they have something higher with them. So the next quality of the devotee, the first quality what we discuss is they're always absorbed in, they're enjoying the service than thinking for the result of a service. The reason is the service is so intoxicating, the service is so pleasurable that result doesn't matter to them. Here in this world, we always look for result, not for the activity itself, because activity is not pleasurable. Working hard is not pleasurable for anybody, isn't it? So, enjoying the result is more important for us, because when we get result, then we can enjoy something, right? But in the spiritual planet, the activity itself is so pleasurable, so intoxicating, so thrilling, so enchanting that they don't even want to think of the result, what will come to us. They just absorb in service. There's the first nature of devotees of Golok Vrindavan. The second nature is that they are very humble in nature. Although they are the greatest of the devotees and living in the greatest of the palaces and have the greatest of qualities, but they are very humble. They are very ground to earth because they know the supremacy of the Lord. They are completely aware how great the Lord is and we are His servant. The small description I'll just read out about what shows their humility. Brahma Samhita, it is stated that the ground on the Vaikuntha planet is made of touchstone. Thus, there is no need to sweep the stone of in Vaikuntha planet because it is made up of touchstone. So there is no need to sweep. There is no dust around, right? for there is hardly any dust on it. But still, in order to satisfy the Lord, the ladies there always engage in dusting the marble walls. Even Lakshmi herself are looking for some dirt here and there so that they can clean it, and they can accept and they can receive the grace of the Lord. That is another thing. So even Lakshmi ji is always looking for that kind of opportunity so that they can receive the grace of the Lord. So that's a very important aspect, that how do they achieve opulent? How do they achieve everything whatever they have in their life? They don't achieve by hard work. Although they have the greatest of the amenities available with them, but they have not done any hard work to achieve it. It's simply because of grace of the Lord that they have everything. On contrast, in this material world, we cannot achieve anything without working hard. We have to really struggle, slog a lot, work very hard, very passionately, then only we can enjoy something. Law of karma works. But in the Vaikuntha planet, it is law of love which works. And according to law of love, there is no boundaries. So if I somehow or other please the Lord, able to attract the grace of the Lord, able to attract that merciful glances of the Lord, then I would achieve whatever is required, whatever is I need. So one merciful glance of the Lord can supersede any amount of punya karma which might have been required to achieve certain things. There's a lesson for us. So if we want to have a good material life, we should look for the grace of the Lord, not only based upon our own hard work. That's what it describes here. The third quality what Vaikuntha Vasi has is that there is no envy among themselves. They are not envious of anybody. Because they don't do any comparison. Envy come because we compare. I don't have this, that person have this. See how the envy comes, and that comparison is being made for one reason, that we feel that I may miss out the opportunity. In that sense, we are very opportunistic because we know there is limited resources in this world. If that person will take it, I will not be able to get it. There is only one vacancy, and 10 people are applying for that. So if there is only one vacancy, then I have to fight and I have to become envious. I have to be very competitive, right? But in Vaikuntha planet, resources are unlimited, and the mercy of the Lord is unlimited. So if one devotee attracts special blessings of the Lord, they don't become envious, they don't become jealous, because they know it is, even if the other devotee achieves their blessings, still they can receive complete blessings of the Lord again. And even though they achieve certain things, even though it is very opulent, still everything is incomplete. So it does not jeopardize my achievement of receiving blessings of the Lord. In that sense, there is no comparison. All the more they become very happy. If some devotee does good service to Krishna or the Narayana, they does not become jealous, they become very happy. Oh, somebody is giving more pleasure to my Lord, and my Lord is very happy. And seeing the Lord happy, they also become happy. So in that sense, there is no jealousy, but there is much more happiness they derive by when other devotee advances more in bhakti. Because other devotee is advancing because of pleasure of the Lord, and because Lord is pleased, I am pleased. If I am pleased, I should be happy for others' advancement. See, such a beautiful atmosphere there is. Here it is completely opposite. We keep on pulling each and everybody's leg. The reason is, in this world, the whole point is self-centric. It is me who is supposed to be becoming the Lord of everything. That is a root understanding. It is me. But in the Vaikuntha planet, it is all about Krishna. So if it is all about me, then if somebody does not respect me, then I will become angry. If I don't achieve something, I will become envious. And a lot of pride will come if I achieve something, right? And it is working hard and trying to prove myself. But in the Vaikuntha planet, there is no such opportunity, there is no such requirement itself, because everything is centered around Krishna, and Krishna is unlimitedly opulent, and he can give any amount of opulence he wants without diminishing his own account. That's the nature. So that's the nature about the devotees there, how pleasantly they live without enviousness, being very humble, and just do service to Krishna, enjoy that, and attract blessings of the Lord, and then they just go ahead in their life. So the third thing is we have to understand the nature of the Lord. What kind of nature, the beauty of the Lord. So it is said here is, in the same context, the beauty of the Lord is very youthful. Because Krishna, Narayana, does not grow beyond 16 years of age, especially Krishna. And when you see in that kind of youth, still you would see that innocence of child in the face of a person. When a teen is growing, in those 14, 15, 16 years, although it is growing up, body is becoming bigger, but still that innocent, like childlike innocence will always be there. Similarly, in Krishna's face also, although he looks young, although he looks kind of adult, but still he has that innocence of a child, and he does not grow beyond that point. That much beautiful he is. And there is a beautiful description which is given in the Brihad Bhavanamrita, which says that although Dwarkadish is truly absolutely powerful king of kings, enjoying in all opulences, he is also humble. So Krishna is also a very humble. That Krishna is not showing, oh, I'm the boss, you should serve me. Here if somebody become boss, they just want to show, okay, I am boss, come and serve me. But actually Krishna is the boss of everybody. He does not show that off. Because if he show that off, then he will not be able to reciprocate with devotees properly. That's his mood. He also feels humble. He is very friendly. He is full of unlimited love. His devotees, in a mood of ecstatic servitude, awe and reverence, are always absorbed in the loving sentiments of the Lord. So that's how we understand about the description of the Lord himself. So this is another beautiful description about the Lord which is being given in the Krishna Karnamrita. That is a little lengthy. So I think it would take another 5 to 6 minutes. If you want me to read, I can read that out. I have the description in front of me. So I'll just read it out. It says here is, I'll go a little slowly so that you understand what it means. My Lord, let me embrace your lotus feet, which moves before me so gracefully with deep passion and a tinkling sound of jeweled anklet. Your lotus feet, whose footprint are the ornament of the forest of Vrindavan, are like desert trees, giving all protection, relief from distress, and liberation to your surrendered and humble devotees. It is describing the lotus feet of the Lord. Then the next phrase goes like this. O Lord, I am not able to look at you, for you appear before me like effulgence personified. Effulgence personified. You are an ocean of mercy that fills the whole universe with its deep bluish effulgence of a sapphire. So the reason the sky is blue is because of this reason. You see, sometimes people ask, why the color of the sky is blue? The color of the sky is blue because Krishna's color is deep blue, and it is his effulgence which is radiating everywhere. That's why the sky color is blue. I'm continuing now from here. Your moon-like face is still more effulgent, appearing like sun bathing in a sea of light. It emanates cooling waves of bliss. Nectar drips from your eyes, resembling two blossoming blue lotuses, sparkling like stars, half covered with thick eyelashes. They pierce my soul with their darting, compassionate glances. So it was describing the effulgence of the Lord. It goes more deeper now. It says, your lips are an abode of even more beauty. They agitate my mind when they curve in mild and tender smile. A intoxicating nectar flows from them as you play your flute, which melody enchants the three world. The next verse, it says, great sages long search for a flicker of this sight that you have now by your mercy revealed before me. Actually, it is one devotee, Bilva Mangala Thakur, who is praying all this, and he is saying that although great sages is not able to have flicker of this sight, and you very mercifully is revealing this form to me. But the milkmaid, thousands of which encircle you always like a swarm of bees, drink the nectar of your lotus-like face every day. Talking about the gopis here. It goes next. They appear to shine like emerald in your effulgence, which does not hurt their eyes, accustomed to seeing you all the times. You are the most resplendent jewel in that necklace of maidens. Your skin, bluish like tamala tree, is the resting place. So it goes next. The honey of your bimba red lips is especially meant for those pure devotees of Vraja. They can taste sweetness of your gentle laughter, revealing your kunda flower-like teeth. They relish the witty, soothing word emanates from your lips. Your flute glorifies your loving pastimes with them in incessant stream of flow that melts their heart and causes your hair to stand on end due to rising tides of love. It goes a little more further. It describes about the flute now. The flute sings that when you pretend to be asleep to hear the milkmaid's playful talk, they comb cluster of your hair locks very gently. They remove the peacock feather and use it to tickle your mirror-like cheeks, so that you cannot help but reveal that you are not asleep. With laughter, you wide open your restless eyes and cast at them your dancing glances that cause them to become languid with love. So it says, your face becomes even more delightful to behold as it brightens with exhilaration when you win another of your verbal duels with the milkmaids. Hypnotized by the charming display of artless emotions on your face, they forget their playful angry attitude. O Lord, not even God of love can challenge your dominion over love's sweetness. Your lotus feet are the home of eternal pastimes of most beautiful women in all the worlds. You are the only enjoyer in the entire universe. Your own beauty binds the mind of your devotees and causes burning pain upon separation. You are the incarnation of nectar for eyes, ears, and mind. You are the only source of enjoyment in the entire universe. My Lord, let this beautiful form of yours, abundant with your innate loving mellows and dripping with nectar upon your each loving gestures, let this infinitely beautiful form of a cowherd boy be fixed in my heart forever. Let your lovely spotless face shine in the sky of my mind. May my soul never forget the exquisite melody of your flute, flooding me with nectar of divine love upon each note. So there's a beautiful description which is being given about the beautiful form of the Lord by Bilvamanga Thakur in Krishna Karnamrita. So we just covered a little bit of topics. The nature of Vaikuntha planet, the devotees, the nature of the Lord. It's so meditative that the more we think about it, simply by thinking, we can be so happy and so blissful. So with this, we'll conclude.
Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment and share. Don't forget to subscribe.